Hello, outsiders. Long time no talk. I took a break, but I'm back in action, or trying, and I've got an interview with Candance Alagata today. She is an old roommate and dear soul sister to me. I am in Kirkwood Park right now. It is so sunny. Yay! But anywho, this interview was back in January of this year when I was in San Diego, where she's living with my other best friend, Shelby. And Candace is such an amazing light, amazing woman. She really deeply cares about the earth and is always going out into nature, doing hikes, and scuba dives a lot because she is getting her marine biology master's. So I wanted to talk to her in regards to how we can protect our waters more and our oceans more. And so I hope that you get something out of this interview and enjoy it. And if you do, please subscribe to my channel and like this video because it really helps get the word out. And so much love to all of you guys. Thank you for watching. Hello! Today I have Candace here, one of my best friends and former roommates, soul sister. And she is doing a really cool marine biology program at SDSU that I wanted to hear about. She's been traveling and backpacking places and outdoorsing for years, and super inspiring. So
trying to get out as much as possible.
Yeah. What essentially got you to choose marine biology as a major?
Wow. So I actually, when I was in high school, I never wanted to do like anything science related. I was not into science at all. And then I got to college. I had no idea what I was going to do. And then in 2014, I knew I always liked the ocean, and I always, like had an appreciation for it, wanted to always be in the water, but I didn't know like I could realistically have that as a career. And I found this flyer at SDSU when I was going there, and it was for this volunteer program in Nicaragua.
Oh,
and
really cool. Yeah, I didn't know that was when it started.
Yeah. And this was 3 years in. I really had no idea. I was still undeclared, and I found this flyer, and I was like, wow, that's super cool. Like, I've always wanted to volunteer, and part of it was helping build houses for families in like a rural village, fishing village, but then the other half was doing a coral conservation program where you get to get scuba dive certified, and you help build these artificial coral reefs. And so I just figured I would like step out of my comfort zone and like go. And after that, there was no question. I knew I was going to do marine conservation and marine research just because I fell in love with the underwater like world. It was just amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So 2014, that's when you took that trip. I remember when you took that trip.
Yeah, that was 6 years ago.
Wow.
So it was amazing. It was like a small little island, and you just live the island life. Like, we were diving 5-6 times, like just going out there, helping the coral. We were building these artificial reefs. They were like 6-7 foot tall reefs that we would use recycled material on the island.
Oh my gosh.
And then we would build them, and we would place them out on the reefs where they were kind of struggling. And there were some coral that would be broken off from like wind or storms or waves or whatever, and we would attach those onto the artificial reefs, and they just and that's pretty much what we did.
And then all the fishies have places to live.
And I fell in love with it. So yeah, I've been doing that ever since.
So that got you excited about scuba diving, and you got into the underwater world, and you're a graduate student.
Yeah.
So you're a graduate student.
Yeah. So I actually
graduate in the spring.
Yeah. One more year, hopefully. But yeah,
what do you do as part of like your program? I know you go to Catalina sometimes.
Yeah, and in American Samoa. So that's actually how I got into the graduate program. So when I graduated undergrad at SDSU, I didn't know I didn't know if I wanted to go to grad school or not. That actually wasn't the plan. Mm-hmm. I was just going to get a job and work my way up. And then I helped out with a scientific diving course. And through that, my instructor found out that I was Samoan. And so he like linked me up with the professor there, and who was doing some research. And so then I helped assist with research in American Samoa. And I've been kind of helping out with the scientific diving program since then. And then I got into grad school, and I have, like a year left.
What is America Samoa like?
It's amazing. Like, I can't even, it's a small island. It's very small. But it is so beautiful, and it's so culturally like strong still. There's not a lot of like influence from, I don't know, like tourism in the Western world. And so people are so nice there, and it's beautiful, and there's still like so much untouched land and water and reefs there that you can go explore forever. But yeah, it's like it's amazing. So I've been there now 3 times. I'm going back this summer. Yeah. And I just got back from Catalina too. So so Catalina is like one of my favorite places to go.
That's where you were taking like students diving?
Yeah. So I was taking students diving there. Helped out kind of as an assistant dive master. And so basically what we do is we take all these students out. It's kind of an intensive program where they learn how to do science underwater, basically, and also manage everything else. And so we take them out to Catalina. It's mainly because Catalina is right off the coast of here, and it is you have like 70-foot visibility. You can see kelp forests that are 40 foot tall. This last time we were swimming with like 20 different, it was like 20 sea lions or more.
I definitely want to get the clip from that. Show like a little clip. It was so cool.
And the time before I didn't have the video with me, but there was at least 100 sea lions that were just swimming all over. It's kind of intimidating, but also one of those beautiful experiences, especially we teach the students that like you're so concentrated on getting your research done and like writing down the data that sometimes it's important to just like look up and see, something that you've never seen before, or things will, swim by, fish will swim by, and you won't even really notice them unless you look up and take the time to like appreciate your surroundings. So and so that's kind of what happened. We were out there doing science, and then we looked around, and there was like 20 different sea lions, just all, it was awesome.
I'll show the clip. So what other types of cool underwater life have you seen?
Oh, man.
Didn't you see like a giant
Yes,
bass
I saw a giant sea bass. They're huge. They're like twice my size, and they're kind of rare to see, but in Catalina, you can kind of see them where we stay. It's Big Fisherman's Cove. And so a lot of times you'll be swimming around and you'll just like see this big shadow lurking. And this last time we were night diving, and I was kind of following a team of divers, just watching what they were doing. And when I looked back, I saw like the huge giant sea bass. It was humongous. And I was deciding whether or not to go get the team of divers and show them, or to follow the sea bass. I followed the sea bass.
When he's there, you got to.
Yeah. So that, and I think swimming with the sea lions was one of the best. Also in Catalina, when we were about to drop down into kelp forests, I looked down before just to see what was, because often when you go down, you can kind of scare off a lot of the sea life. But when I looked down, there were 3 blue sharks, and blue sharks are really rare. Ooh. Yeah, and they're not big.
I'm terrified of sharks.
Most people are, and I always try to tell people like most of the time, they're just there. They're just curious, and they just want to check you out and see what you're about. And so when I saw those 3 sharks, I had to tell all the students, I was like, just so you guys know, there's 3 sharks. Don't freak out. But we went down there, and they swam around us, and they were super curious. And so they were just checking us out. And my dive instructor said that he actually hadn't seen blue sharks in like 7 years. So
really?
Yeah, so that was
so super rare.
Super rare.
That's amazing.
And so that's probably one of the best times I've ever been scuba diving, and saw some cool stuff.
Do you have any like top locations you want to scuba dive in the world now? That you've like so pro?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I still haven't gotten to dive in American Samoa. I've just snorkeled there,
wow,
but I
okay.
want to dive in American Samoa. But definitely the Great Barrier Reef. I think that's like everybody's top. And I would say Moorea and Fiji, I heard, was amazing to dive. Yeah, the coral reefs over there would be amazing. I don't know if I'm a cold water diver, but it's pretty cold over here. But I don't know. I think doing like the Pacific Northwest would be amazing because kelp forests are just, there's so much, you know, in those forests. There's so much life to see, and it's completely different than coral reefs, which is what I kind of, I guess, learned how to dive in. So
kelp forest is like the kelp that you see washed up everywhere, but in the water it's like big and long.
Yeah,
So
they're like
just, like
40, 50 feet kelp forests. That,
wow.
I mean, it's essentially like, you know, when you're hiking in huge, you know, forests here on land, it's the same thing. There's so much life and so much to see out there. It's like, it's amazing. I think it definitely rivals coral reefs, I would say.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I gotta get myself into a kelp forest.
Yeah, I know. You're scuba dive certified, right?
Yeah, but I'd have to get a recert.
Yeah.
Because it's been a long time.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to go.
Yes.
I also wanna go diving with the whale sharks, I think. Yeah, in Baja. Baja should be amazing.
Yeah. You do night dives, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
That
night dives.
sounds really scary.
Most people get really scared about night dives, but honestly, it is one of the best. I mean, I'd still love diving during the day where you can see a lot, but night dives are so cool because, I mean, sea creatures come out that you don't normally see at night, and the phytoplankton, the blooms, are just amazing. Like it's called bioluminescence, and basically like when you're swimming around, it just looks like a whole bunch of fireflies or like the galaxy, and you can see outlines of fish or different divers. You know, it's like a mixture of the galaxy and Avatar. Like, it's so cool. It's out of this world. You can turn off your flashlight and you can have dance parties out there. We have dance parties all the time. It's so cool.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Underwater dance party at night.
Yeah, it really is.
With all the glowing.
Yeah. Usually I like to get all the students together and we'll get in a circle at night and I make them turn off their flashlights and we just have a dance party because you can just see all the different bioluminescence go off. It's super cool.
So beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow. Like underwater is just like, it literally is like a whole other world that some people don't connect with, and you get to do it like a lot.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
I try to as much as possible. I mean, like, I've been building it up to where I can go, you know, building up, like, getting all my you know, stuff, my certifications and stuff, so I can go as much as possible. But, you know, it's amazing.
So what is it exactly that's really damaging a lot of the coral reefs out there?
I think there's a lot of different things that are damaging the coral reefs.
Is it mostly human kind of?
Yeah, it's mostly human interactions and like human stressors. So a lot of it is like land-based pollution, and like if you're, you know, like walking on the corals and stuff like that, that can do a lot of damage. But a lot of it comes from, especially I think on more of like a global scale, it really is like the carbon dioxide emissions, like the warming of the ocean and the ocean acidification. So when you're increasing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, you're changing the like physical chemistry of the water, and so it becomes more acidic. And so corals are live animals, and you know, they only live at a specific pH or like a specific level of acidity. Right. And so by once it's out of balance, by, you know, adding more carbon dioxide in the water or in the air, you know, the ocean is the biggest body that absorbs carbon dioxide, and so when it does that, it changes the pH. So that, and I would say what I'm studying is more of like the sedimentation and the nutrients that run off into the water, especially in developing islands and nations that have watersheds that run directly onto coral reefs. So pesticides and fertilizers, those affect coral reefs a lot. So it kind of reduces their calcification or growing, their growing skeletons.
Right.
But also, you know, with a lot of the sedimentation and the pollution, it smothers the corals, and so they can't breathe, they can't grow. So I think it's a combination of both. It's, you know,
A lot of different problems.
it's a global problem, but like you can, you know, there's a lot of things that you can do on a local and regional scale.
So
that
sustainable practices in terms of farming, and I'm sure
sustainable farming. So like that's a
organic,
huge one.
Yeah.
I would say not using, you know, pesticides and fertilizers is a huge.
I guess not trying to use as many chemicals in general.
Yeah.
In
Exactly.
life.
Chemicals in general, and that's not just for, you know, coral reefs, that's for like all different ecosystems and like habitats in the ocean. They're all affected by the amount of, you know, anything that we put in the ocean. Really, they're affected by the different nutrients that we put in. So I think that is a huge one that we can manage, at least on like a local scale and a regional scale. There's a lot of work in San Diego actually, in the different watersheds to like control the amount of like sediment that's running off and control the amount of sewage and trash and pollution, because that at least we can kind of help mitigate. Whereas, you know, with carbon dioxide emissions, that's a little bigger problem. I don't know if we can tackle at a local scale,
I
but
mean, that's kind of like every person has to make changes for themselves.
yeah, exactly. And so if you make one change and you hope the next person, you know, next to you makes another change, you at least hope that, you know, it starts getting bigger and bigger and people start changing.
Yes.
On a
It
larger
all
scale.
starts somewhere.
Yeah.
It all starts with us.
One by one.
One by one. So Candace here also does a lot of hiking, I know. What's your favorite hike around San Diego County?
Ooh, that would probably be a toss-up between Three Sisters and Devil's Punch Bowl. I would say Three Sisters was my favorite, I think, because of the trail down. They actually changed the trail a bit, but it was so cool. It's kind of like a ropes course that you went down. It was pretty steep, but once you get there, you hike down into the valley, and it's just 3 huge waterfalls that kind of fall into each other. And especially when the water is going, you can go to the top one and you can jump off the waterfall into the water.
Really?
Yeah. So it's awesome. I usually try to take people that aren't from San Diego there, because it kind of just like, it's out in the middle of nowhere, you know, you get away from the city and it feels like you're just, you know, really like in nature. It's amazing. Yeah.
Three Sisters. I'll have to try it out.
Devil's Punch Bowl is really cool too. That's another waterfall one. That one is in Ramona. And so that has just one huge waterfall, and it looks like a big punch bowl, and you can jump off on the rocks and stuff. And so those are probably my 2 favorites.
And you went recently to Yosemite with a bunch of friends.
Yeah, it
I
was.
know you went to that one, the Wave.
The Wave.
That was really cool.
Oh my gosh.
Your pictures. Yeah. We tried to go, but when we were doing my cross-country trip, but we couldn't get it.
Couldn't get it, yeah. That was actually a really cool and lucky story. So we didn't plan to go to the Wave. Actually, we had we were doing a road trip, me and my friend Hannah, and we did Zion, and we were going to do the Grand Canyon and check all, you know, the different places in Utah. And my friend Hannah told me about the Wave, and she was like, you know, there's like 10, you know, you get 10 spots, and it's a raffle or a lottery.
Oh yeah.
And so we went, and there was only 10 spots left, and we both got a spot to go. And so we were like, oh my gosh, this must have been meant to be. Yeah.
They don't even do it by group. They do it by like individual person.
They do. Yeah. So we decided to do two separate ones,
okay.
because like if one of us went, well, yeah, it's better luck, might as well. But we went, and I think it was like 7 or 8 miles to get there, but they actually give you this map, and it's like a picture map, because there's no trail. You kind of just go out, and they say, okay, look at those 3 peaks. You need to go through the one on the right, in the middle, because they don't have a trail, because they don't have that many people that they allow to go there. Yeah.
Wow.
And it just looks like, I don't even know, it's hundreds and thousands of years old. Looks like somewhere from like you could go back in time and see the dinosaurs, because it's all this beautiful sandstone that used to be sand dunes, and it got hardened over. And so now it's sandstone, and it's just the way the wind shaped it. It looks like a wave, and it's gorgeous. Yeah, that was probably, I would say, the one of the best hikes. That and Angel's Landing in Zion. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The scariest hike I've ever done.
Angel's Landing. What was so scary about it?
It's 1,500-foot cliffs on both sides, like just sheer cliffs. Woo. And there's, like maybe this much, enough for you to just one person go by. And they have chains, and you kind of hold on to the chains. But, they have the huge signs that are like, go at your risk. And it's, if you make one wrong move, like you go down the edge, but it's so worth it, because at the end you just kind of get off on this like platform, and you just see like all around you. It's just like the whole valley, and it's kind of one of those things where you have to push yourself. I'm not great with heights. Mm-hmm. And so when I was going, I was really nervous. I almost turned around, and my friend Han was like, come on, you can do it. Like, it's going to be worth it at the end. And so it's one of those where, like, if somebody needs to pass, you hold on to the chain, and they have to maneuver around you just to get around.
Oh my
but
God.
Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah. At the end, I was so like proud of myself for doing it, like for pushing myself. Yeah.
Wow, Angel's Landing.
Yeah.
Now I have all these hikes I need to go on.
That was, Angel's Landing and the Wave were probably my top two. And then Yosemite, like, we really wanted to do Half Dome. Actually, it was me and 6 of my friends, and we kind of did it last minute. And with Half Dome, you have to get the permits ahead of time. And so we said, you know what, screw it. Like, let's just go find a trail that not too many people know about. Maybe it could turn out and be beautiful. Like, you never know. Sometimes, like, the most unpopular trails are the best ones, or the most unknown ones are the best. And so we picked, it was called Young Lakes. And there were 3 lakes, and so you hike up. It's like a 9-mile trail, and instead of going into Yosemite Valley, you go out. And so we went, and there wasn't that many people on the trail at all. And then when we were up there and we set up camp, we didn't see like one person. So it was just amazing.
Nice. You set up camp at the top?
Yeah, we set up camp at the top, and then we took like an extra day so we could go hike to the top lake. And we went fishing, and there was like bear caves and stuff. Nobody was around. It was so cool. And so like we realized, some of the best trails are the ones that you never would think about going on, that you've never heard before, I guess.
Word. Make your own trail. So, Candace, what is your favorite way to connect with nature every day?
Oh my gosh, every day. Yeah, honestly, or
most days.
Most days.
When you're not busy with all your schoolwork.
I think, honestly, just going outside and no matter what it is, finding like a hobby. For me, it's going on a run or going surfing and changing it up, but still just being outside, I think is the best way to connect with nature. It like clears my mind, clears my head, and sometimes we get caught up in, our life and what we're doing that we don't take time to just appreciate. And I like to go by myself a lot of the times, because then I can really like reflect back and stuff. And I would say that's my favorite, surfing and running, on the beach, or just going outside, going on a hike, whatever it may be. Like finding a hobby, I think outside is the best way. Yeah, and it keeps me happy, because I can't stay inside for more than a day before I get stir crazy.
Same.
I could
Yes. Yeah, we were supposed to go surfing together, but I dropped the ball on that one.
Well, next time, yeah, you'll always come back. So
Always.
yeah, I'll teach you. I mean, I'm not that great myself, so but it's like it's fun to learn new things. Like I am still not great at surfing, but I go out there just to get in the water and like just to get in the sun and stuff. So
inspiring.
Yeah.
And usually I ask, what do you think people can do to help protect the world or the natural world? But since you are a marine biology major, I wanted to ask, what can everyone do to help protect our oceans better?
Wow, that's a great question. That's a big one. Yeah. I think honestly, there's so many ways. There's small ways, there's big ways you can help. Small ways is just like recycling and trying not to use as much plastic. And when you're walking on the beach, or anywhere, even like near the storm drains that go directly to the ocean, picking up trash. Like I try to, when I'm on the beach, I tell myself, okay, I'm going to pick up 5 pieces of trash as I'm walking. That does make a difference in a small way. I think for me, like one of the biggest changes I would say in my life is trying to support sustainable fishing and try and buy sustainable fish and stuff, because that is so huge, I think, for the oceans, for the stocks of fish and all the different marine life. I think sustainable fisheries is one of our biggest hurdles right now. I would say. I think they agree.
Really? So how do you support sustainable fishing more?
I mean, there's plenty of ways you can go to local, if you're near the beaches, there's tons of local fishing companies and local fisheries. There's the markets that you can go to that kind of support this small scale fishing. And then if you are going to any of the grocery stores, when you look on the packaging, there's different ways you can there's tons of different ways to look at sustainable fishing. There's also sustainable aquaculture, and I think a lot of people, when they think about aquaculture,
yeah, I don't even think I've heard that word.
So aquaculture is fish farming, basically.
Oh, okay.
It's the same thing, but there's I think aquaculture has a bad name a lot of the time because there are a lot of ways that it's unsustainable, but they're starting to develop sustainable aquaculture, and that can be off land. Sometimes if you go to Mexico and you drive along the coast, there's these huge big circular pens, and they have different fish in there that they're doing aquaculture on, and that's more of a sustainable way instead of using all the resources and fertilizers and pesticides and stuff like that you need for on land aquaculture. But yeah, there's plenty of ways I think that you can just support sustainable fishing. Yeah. So
with your dollar, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sustainability always. So my last question is, do you have a favorite underwater animal or fish that you like very much?
So I'm usually the person that says I love coral because they're animals, and I feel like not a lot of people know that. Or not, I mean, okay, a lot of people know that. Some people don't. They don't consider it as, a favorite animal, but I love coral. They're, they're a habitat forming species. They are a nursery for thousands of fish and invertebrates and stuff. So I love coral. They can do amazing things. They also can be primary producers, but they're animals, so they live symbiotically with this algae that produces oxygen, right? Wow. And so it's cool because they're animals, but they also have this symbiotic relationship with algae that can photosynthesize, which is super cool.
That's super cool.
But
coral.
I love nudibranchs because they're cute and they're little.
What's a nudibranch?
I will have to show you what a nudibranch is. They're cute little little sea creatures. They're bright and some. You should absolutely. You should absolutely. Some of them are poisonous.
Oh.
So it's pretty cool, but they're all really like, a lot of them are usually like very colorful and like flamboyantly colorful. So it's just a fun thing to like see when you're diving. You can see them. They're like little, I wouldn't say they're sea slugs. I don't know what they are. Don't quote me on that.
Nudibranchs,
actually. Nudibranchs.
Well, I really liked both of those answers.
Yeah.
I was expecting, like manatee,
Yeah.
dolphin. No,
I do like
coral and nudibranchs.
A lot of people say, like, or at least like marine scientists, the charismatic megafauna, which is like, it's basically, everybody loves like the big creatures, like the whales and the dolphins and stuff, but there's so many like little creatures in the ocean that are just as cool. And so, yeah, I would say nudibranchs.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me.
welcome.
I love you so much. Thank you for all that you do. Hopefully, I'm so proud of you for helping save our oceans, and just
I love it.
so inspired
So much fun.
by Candace.
Hello, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Candace. Sending her so much love from Missouri. And if you did, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. And I should be having more nature videos and interviews coming up. I interviewed my good friend Boone, who is living on an intentional community in Missouri. And so stay tuned. Love you all. Mwah.